Hey guys, it's Girl Got Game. Welcome back to England Exchange. And, as you can see, our old boo is on the screen, but I thought we'd start here at the first choice as we do the beginning of Angelo's route. We haven't picked different options here yet, so I thought I would do this one. And Angelo does show up shortly after this conversation takes place anyway, so I thought we might as well start here. And yeah, we'll see how things go with our dear Angelo, who stole my heart already in the first route. So I'm glad I didn't have to wait too long for him. Anyway, does that really happen in England? You know, locking people up in their attics? British people don't actually do that, right? Now I felt even more awkward. Alright. Anyways, we have a kitchen and cafeteria. There's communal food in the fridge, and sometimes people make meals that others can share and we eat together. I don't think anyone announces it though, so you've got to come in on time. Just aim for whenever Ashley's not at work. She loves to cook for us. The living room is shared space. We all work together to keep things neat and tidy as well, so clean up after yourself. Don't leave stuff laying about. Quiet time after 10 o'clock also. Most of us are students, and we need our sleep to keep up with classes. To be honest, I don't actually know what all the others are here for. There's some girl who I see in the halls sometimes. I haven't even officially met her, but I've not seen her at uni. Don't know what she's doing. Anyways, Peggy and I especially need quiet after hours. No loud music and all that. Not that I guess you'll be staying up too late, considering what your work schedule will likely be like. You'll be able to set most things yourself, however. What classes you take, what you do with your spare time, extra work shifts to pick up, who you befriend. You get to do whatever you want. But be careful, too. That means you can't blame anyone else if things don't go the way you want them to. He was starting to sound like a parent lecturing their child on the first day of college, but I bit my tongue. I would skip through this, but I didn't want to skip over Angelo. The skipping in this game is crazy fast. Okay, before you could continue, a rather scruffy man came into the front door behind me. Out of curiosity, can I... Oh, I can actually scroll. Okay, well maybe I should just... Alright, there's Angelo. There we go. Suddenly, man of the hour, there was a distant, dull thudding noise, and the door to my right flew open. Oh, here comes Angelo. A short, sullen young man entered the room and stood there staring at me. Who are you? This is your new partner, MALIA. You'll be working together, remember? Oh, you. Angelo is one of our maids. I'm not a maid, I'm a housekeeper. Look, it's not normal for me to be doing this kind of work. It was a misunderstanding, capisci? They thought my name was Angela, not Angelo, so they assigned me as if I were a woman. Surely the assignments were random? England wasn't medieval. There was no reason why only women should work in housekeeping. Was this kid really old enough to be employed in this kind of program? He seemed like he might still be in high school. And he seemed to think like a high school boy, too. Well, it's nice to meet you. I held my hand out for him to shake, and he looked at it as if it were dirty. Finally, he touched my hand, but only for a moment, and let go without giving it a shake. Gonna have to make some big progress with this boy. Here's hoping we get along, right? He glared at me and continued to the next room. Well, don't mind Angelo. He's got a bit of a temper and maybe a bit of a bleeding heart, but he's a good guy deep down. And try not to take his views too personally. He's had a strange upbringing. I think being here will be good for him. Isn't he a little young to be around here? Young? No, he's 19. 19? Seriously? I was surprised too. He has a baby face. Don't mention to him that you thought he was so young, though. He'll get offended. He likes to be manly, that one. Alright, well we got warned about Angelo. Alright, and then we meet Peggy. And then James. Oh yeah, and then we gotta meet you guys. Blech, Brendan. Oh. Alright, we're at work. I need to go back a little bit. Yeah. To the hotel. We'll just start from the beginning with this. Sorry I'll be skipping around for a little while. The hotel was a tall and thin building, a fairly modern-looking one, but with some old stone touches to blend into the London environment. Passing through the glass doors into the front lobby, I was met with a gentle warmth that wiped away the January gloom. Marble floors gleamed underfoot, reflecting the chandeliers above, and the decorative plants appeared to be live, not plastic. A pretty but very bored-looking woman was manning the receptionist's desk. I approached her.
Hello! Welcome to the Nightingale Hotel. Do you have a reservation?
I'm here to work as a maid. I'm from the one hostel. I'm MALIA.
Oh, you.
She reached under the desk and pulled out a piece of paper.
Yeah, you're going to be on shift with Angie, cleaning the upper floors of the hotel today. That's 40-odd rooms, so work quickly. You need to get everything done by the time your shift ends, or you'll be in trouble.
I don't even know how to clean the rooms.
Is that my problem?
She looked at me with disdain.
You spoiled Yanks think you deserve everything handed to you. You'll finish your shift in the presidential suite. That one requires a special key that's kept here in the front desk, so you'll need to come get me. The only other person who has access to that suite is the hotel owner. Make sure you come get me before your shift is over, or I'll be livid. I don't like waiting for other people to finish their work just so I can leave.
Her glare swept up and down my body like a targeting laser.
Well, aren't you gonna get going?
But to where?
The employee room in the back. Change into your uniform and find Angie. Jeez. At this rate, I should get paid for doing your job.
Wow, what a bitch. Disgruntled, I followed her outstretched finger to a closet behind the front desk. There was an employee's lounge, a few offices, and a small locker room. I changed clothes in there and came outside. Angelo was there waiting for me.
There you are. It's about time. Come on, let's go.
Angelo grabbed a cart next to him and nodded his head to a giant basket.
Take that. It's for laundry. I'll get this one, it's heavier.
Thank you. That's kind of you, Angie.
That is not my name.
Sorry, that's what the lady at the desk called you.
Aussie. That one. A word of warning. Do not trust her.
Oh. Thanks for pushing the cart.
Whatever. You're too weak to handle something like this without getting tired.
That was a little rude. I followed him into the elevator and he punched the number 6, then we were going up. So what exactly do we do in this job?
We clean things. I'll show you how to do it, but after that, you'll be the one making the beds and dusting and stuff.
I will? Why?
I don't do women's work. I'll pick up the dirty towels and clean the bathroom and vacuum, right? I won't actually clean the sheets, though. That's your job. I think it's pretty fair.
I bristled. What are you talking about women's work? Do you still live in the Dark Ages? I didn't know men like you still existed. He frowned at me.
What's wrong with it? That's just the way things are. You've got delicate hands, you know. You shouldn't be expected to do the same things that I do.
What? The elevator pinged, disgorging us into a brightly lit hallway. A few guests were standing before the door. We shut our mouths and pushed through to the first room.
Right, so what we do is...
He hammered on the door 3 times.
Maid service. Give them a second to respond or put on clothes. You never know. Okay, let's go in.
The room was completely empty but incredibly spacious. 2 queen-size beds, a television, a desk, a table and several chairs, a dresser, nightstands, refrigerator, sink, microwave. Was this a hotel or an apartment? It certainly put my hostel room to shame. I shook my head. Angelo pushed the cart in and handed me a rag and squirt bottle.
Never squirt directly onto the furniture, only into the rag. Get every surface where people would leave fingerprints or dust, but try not to move any of the guest things except for what's on the bed.
I followed him through the room, watching him work. Then he showed me how to achieve a streak-free shine on the mirrors and how to achieve a perfectly crisp bed. Did we not change the sheets?
Do you know how much water this place would use up if we washed all the linens every day? If you see something obviously dirty, put it in the cart. Otherwise, make the bed and move on.
What about between guests?
Same routine. This place is pretty fancy, so we can get away with it. People don't expect a place like this to be dirty, so they don't look for it. We wash the sheets every few weeks at a minimum anyways.
Ew. Wait. When was the last time my sheets were washed at the hostel? I'm washing them as soon as I get home. Angelo finished up that room and starting on the next, I began to clean.
What are you doing? You left a spot here. You call that bed crisp? It looks like a child made it. Can't you do any better than this? You're hardly making this fair for me.
Every room we went into, every room we passed, he found something to berate me for.
I told you not to move the guests' things.
Even when guests were still in the room, he found ways to insult me with his glares and annoyed faces. I wanted more than anything to blow up at him, but I held my tongue. There was no point to it. I was going to have to work with him, and I didn't want to get written up for a bad attitude on my first day. According to James, it would reflect badly on the hostel. If he lost his contact, I'd be out of a job and a home. No matter how much of an asshole Angelo was, I just had to deal with him. Finally, several hours later, we finished the last of the regular rooms.
Right. Why don't you run down and get the presidential key from Aussie?
Me? Why me?
Really? I've been pushing around this heavy cart all day, and you can't just ride an elevator down a few floors?
I glared at him but headed back down to the main lobby. However, when I got to the front desk, Aussie was nowhere to be found. There was a single disgruntled guest waiting by it, and he accosted me as soon as I walked up. I did my best to give him directions to a restaurant. Really, I just pointed him in a random direction, but this is a city. Surely there'd be food anywhere he went. Finally, out of desperation, I went to knock on the door of the owner's office. Hopefully someone would be in. Excuse me? Yes? Who are you? I'm Malia. I'm a new employee here. I need to get into the presidential suite, but I couldn't find Aussie to give me the key. She must be helping a guest with something. Fine. I'll go up and unlock the room for you. It'll be nice to get out of this office anyways. Together, the hotel owner and I rode up to the top floor and met Angelo, his foot tapping impatiently.
There you... Oh, my apologies, ma'am.
Don't worry, no inspection today. I'll get out of your hair after this. The boss stuck the key card into the door and opened it up. There, now it's all right. There was just one problem. We'd forgotten to knock. As the door swung open, we were given a grand view of the room's king-size bed, and the two people on top of it. Oh my god! Aussie? What are you doing with... The hotel owner glanced between her and the hotel guest, who were locked in an embrace on the bed. Luckily, they weren't completely naked. I think. I was trying very, very hard not to look. Aussie!
Well, it's definitely not what you think, ma'am. There is a...
I believe this is something we should discuss in my office, if you don't mind. I apologize for this disturbance, sir. We'll get out of your hair right away. If you would like to have your room serviced, the staff here can clean it now and be on their way. The guest nodded dumbly, and the owner left the room to wait in the hallway. As Aussie got out of bed and surreptitiously straightened her clothes, she glared at me.
I told you not to go up into this room without me, didn't I? I told you to come and get me, not the boss, didn't I? Can you not comprehend simple orders at all, or did you think I was just joking around with you?
It didn't seem like...
Oh, I wasn't serious enough for you. You didn't take my warning seriously.
How was I supposed to know it was a warning when every word out of your mouth sounds like a threat? She headed out of the room but stopped as she drew level with me.
I swear to God, I will make you pay for this.
But... Without another word, she left the room. The guest looked from me to Angelo, face pale as marshmallows.
Please, sir, don't worry about it. It's just a minor employee feud that will be handled by HR.
Angelo stepped in to save me, as I was far too shaken to respond.
We'll just get to work cleaning, won't we, Malia?
I nodded, my mouth dry. The room was larger than the rest and took us slightly longer to clean. By the time we were done, my heart was racing a little less. Angelo pushed both his and my cart out of the room, then looked at me.
That was a little worrisome.
I'm just... To my horror, tears filled my eyes. First, Angelo berated me the entire day, and then I got in hot water with Aussie. Angelo frowned and approached me. What? He swept me up in a grand hug, and I stiffened, completely confused. Aw.
There. It'll all be fine. Don't worry about it, okay? She won't actually do anything. Aussie's all talk, no fight. Once I left something out in the kitchen and she ate it and got sick. She hollered until the goats came home, but never did anything about it.
In the kitchen? Wait, she lives at the hostel with us? He pulled away from me and raised an eyebrow.
Yeah. Did she not say this?
Oh, God! I guess I must have forgot.
Don't worry. I won't let her bother you. You didn't do anything wrong anyways. Just try to put it out of your head, okay? If anything happens, just holler for me and I'll come get you.
He grinned and my heart skipped a beat. What? Why was he suddenly so nice? What happened to the jerk who bossed me around all day?
Anyways, let's go. You have to do all that laundry before we can get off this shift.
Oh, there he was. Oh, Angelo. We finished our work in the basement of the hotel. By the time we came back to the lobby, Aussie was once again at the receptionist desk, helping guests with a bright smile on her face. It was almost as if nothing had happened.
See, she didn't get fired. No harm, no foul.
As we passed to the exit, however, she glowered at me.
Well, maybe not. Let's go home. It's late. Tomorrow's the first day of classes. You need your rest.
Oh, right. Somehow, I had to take control of events and stop letting everything just happen to me. We'll try. Well, I worked my first shift and made my first enemy. But, regardless of what happened today, this was still my trip. It was up to me to make the most of it. Both good and bad. I could let people get to me like I usually did, or I could stand up on my own 2 feet and push through somehow. It was all up to me. And what I wanted to do most right now was... should we call our friends or get some sleep? I'm trying to remember if there was other options. I think that was like the girl thing. Like, have you met any nice girls? I'm just gonna save. Hold on. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Just in case. Okay, I'm just gonna call friends and see if... okay, yeah, that was the girl thing. I'll just reload. There's no point in doing that until later. I'll just get some sleep. I was going to need all the energy I could get. Okay, so we just skipped that whole thing. Alright, we'll talk about the ladies later. So, let's... Oh, hi, Angelo. Alright. Might as well do it since Angelo's here. I think this is when Mark insults everybody. After a hard day's work, finally it was dinner time. The hostel had a dining area where everybody could eat, next to the kitchen. People could order in or could gather together to eat a group meal. With that in mind, I crept into the kitchen, hoping to find something simple I could make. When I entered, I discovered Angelo, Peggy, and Ashley were sitting around the larger table, each taking something from a platter of vegetables and noodles. Another guy I hadn't met before was also there. That must be Mark, the one Danny said was cute.
I really hope you like it. I worked hard on it.
It's free food. I'll definitely like it. You'd make a good wife, Ashley.
You think so?
Ashley flushed as Angelo laughed heartily. You belong in the Stone Age, Angelo.
What? It was a compliment. She's not mad about it.
That's besides the point. And that set them both off, shouting insults back and forth. Mark, sitting nearby, watched with wide eyes. I tried to figure out a way to casually approach and join the group, but I wasn't sure what to do. It'd probably look bad if I just walked up and asked to eat some of their food, especially since I didn't help make it. Maybe it would be better to come back later and take a peek in the fridge. I started out of the kitchen, but before I could make it out the door, I locked eyes with Ashley.
Oh, MALIA! Are you hungry? I made stir-fry if you want some. I'm sure there's plenty for all of us.
Really? Are you okay with that?
Of course.
Despite Ashley's assurances, I glanced at the others. Peggy and Angelo were still at each other's throats, but Mark offered me a smile and gestured to the seat next to him. I sat down nervously. Thank you. It looks really good. Ashley got a plate for me and spooned food onto it while Mark got me a glass of water. Just can't comprehend that your way of life is totally...
Maybe if you calmed down a little, it wouldn't be so...
Don't mind them. They've been at it all day.
Really?
Yeah, it's a bit rough, but I'm sure they both mean well.
It's interesting to see people with such dynamic opinions.
And you guys aren't going to stop them?
I don't want to get involved. I don't like to fight with anyone.
I glanced at Mark, who shrugged.
Everything ends one way or another. I mean, these kinds of things are interesting to discuss, but as long as it's not directly affecting me, it doesn't have any meaning.
What? What did that mean? There was an odd tension in the air. A few seconds later, I realized Peggy had stopped arguing with Angelo and was instead staring at Mark. How can you say that you don't care about anything that doesn't affect you personally? Does that mean if you saw someone in pain, you wouldn't do anything to help them because it wasn't you who was hurting?
Oh, no, that's not what I meant. I just meant that if how someone else is behaving isn't causing direct harm, or if it's just a theoretical concept that isn't harming anyone in practice that I can see, I won't bother with it.
But theoretical concepts can harm people.
I suppose.
Well? Mark seemed to consider Peggy's point for a few moments and shrugged.
I can't really be bothered.
Oh! Peggy stood and grabbed her half-full plate. I can't stand people like you! She marched off in a huff. Angelo chuckled as he watched her go.
Thanks for having my back, man.
Angelo held out his hand for a high five. Mark looked at it with interest.
Your palm is quite nice, but I wasn't doing it for you. It does seem pointless, don't you think? What? I mean, everyone dies. Life is short. So I don't think you should argue so much. It's a waste of time.
Angelo grunted and went back to his food.
Well, Mark, since you're new here, how do you like it?
It is very nice. Everyone is very friendly.
Aw, that's sweet. Don't you think, Angelo?
Angelo grunted again. He didn't seem particularly interested in the conversation anymore.
Well, anyways, what brought you here, Mark?
Mark frowned.
Exploration.
Oh, that's nice. Are you at uni, or did your family send you here?
I don't think that's important enough to spend time talking about.
He tilted his head to the side and smiled.
I don't like people prying into my past, if you don't mind.
I set my fork down, surprised. Did Mark want everybody to hate him, or was he seriously just accidentally pissing everybody off? Ashley, her cheeks gone pale from nerves, anxiety, anger, nodded and picked up her plate.
I'm going to go clean up now. It was nice eating with you.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much for your food and conversation. I hope we can do this again.
Ashley shot him a puzzled glance. Angelo stood and handed his plate to Ashley, then lumbered out of the room. With nobody else left, Mark turned to me.
So, what brings you here?
He seemed almost cheerful, as if completely unaware of what he'd just done. Did you not notice what just happened there?
What do you mean?
I'll leave that for your route. It's coming up. It's nothing. Mark searched my eyes and started nodding.
I see.
What? What do you see?
This has happened before, you know. I do not like people who who clearly keep things from me.
Oh, wait, but I mean, you did kind of insult everybody earlier. You clearly didn't make them feel good. Mark paused and shook his head.
Sorry, but I think I should leave. Have a nice meal.
Then he, like everybody else, took his plate and left. Well, that was a great dinner, wasn't it? I finished my food alone. Meh. Oh, hi, Aussie. Oh, my goodness. I didn't realize we had so much Angelo in the beginning. Well, not that I'll complain. Hey, Angie. Ready for work today?
Yeah.
I frowned. Usually if I called Angelo Angie, he would immediately complain, "That's a girl's name, not mine." It was basically a running joke by now, but this time I only got silence. You feeling up to it today?
Yeah.
He avoided my eyes, staring at the floor.
I'll wait by the elevator.
And then he left for the hall. What was going on with him? As the day wore on, it only got worse. Angelo, can you pass me that cloth? He grabbed the cloth and held it in the direction of my voice, staring at the floor. Toss it here. He threw it without even aiming, and I squeaked. I leapt to one side, catching it out of the air, and narrowly avoided knocking a glass of water onto a guest's laptop. What's wrong with you? Do you not see what almost happened?
What are you talking about?
Now he was looking at me angrily. You almost ruined that computer. We could have lost our jobs.
But nothing happened, so it's fine.
Why have you been acting weird all day? What's up with you? He grunted and scuffed his feet on the floor. I'm not going to finish doing this room until you tell me. You can do all the work yourself if you want, but I'm waiting. He looked at me, eyes knitted together in desperation. He glanced at the bed, the dresser, the bathroom, then back at me, bouncing up and down like a little boy.
Oh, fine. Fine. I'm annoyed that people are so constantly treating me like a girl. I don't look like a girl, do I? But because of a mistake with my name, people assumed I was a woman. And now I'm forced to do women's work day in, day out.
I still don't think that was the reason the program assigned him to work here. Ashley worked at the pub, and she was definitely a woman, but he was so fixed on this stupid idea. What's wrong with women's work?
There is nothing wrong with women's work. I respect it, and women, very much. But I am not a woman. I wouldn't ask a woman to do my job. That would be disrespectful towards her. I am being made to do a woman's job, which is disrespectful towards me. Before you came, I accepted this mistake, but recently it has begun to grate on me.
What makes you think it's disrespectful? Angelo looked at me as if I had grown a second head.
Of course it is disrespectful. I would never ask my sisters to do my work at home. I helped them carry the heaviest groceries, and they did my laundry without protest. I would not ask them to move the furniture or carry out repairs in the house. If they stepped in to finish my work, it would mean I hadn't done my job quickly enough and they were impatient. It was an insult in a way. If one of us overstepped our boundaries, it meant we weren't being capable. We were not being good women and men. So of course it is disrespectful.
I see. Get over it. I'll say I'm sorry this time. I can understand why that would bother you. I never thought I'd encounter someone so steeped in gender roles, in Europe, no less. Weren't they supposed to be more progressive than us? But after he explained it, it made more sense. It didn't seem to come from a place of malice, that's the key. I wouldn't really mind him privately feeling that way about women's work, so long as he didn't feel the need to tell me what I should and shouldn't do. Right now, though, he didn't need me to correct him. He was down, so I should be supportive. I could bring it up at a better time later. Nice, nice, nice. I'm sure it's not meant to be disrespectful, but I can see how it would feel wrong to you, and that's rough, especially since you've been taught this all your life. Angelo smiled sadly at me. Aw, our first Cara! Nice.
Thank you, Cara. It is nice to have someone here who understands.
The rest of the day passed by well enough. Since Angelo had gotten everything off his chest, I hope he could now see how silly he was being. And the moment's gone. Regardless, we finished work early and headed for home. Good job, everybody.